In this video, we will work on this example. In a sample of randomly selected 100 males and 150 females, 64 males and 81 females have college degrees. Test the claim that the percentage of males and females with college degrees are different. Here, the claim is that the two proportions are different, so that means the alternate hypothesis will be their differences is not equal to 0. That means our alternate hypothesis is P1 minus P2 not equal to 0. Whereas our null hypothesis is their differences equal to 0. So that means P1 minus P2 equals to 0. Now let's find test statistic using this formula here. So looking at this formula here, we know we need P1 hat, P2 hat, N1 and N2. So let's write down our P1 hat, P2 hat, our N1 and N2. So basically our P1 hat is given by this formula, X over N. So our X is 64 and our N is 100. So therefore our P1 hat is 0.64. And our P2 hat equals to X over N, which is 81 over 150. So that is equal to 0.54. And our N1 is 100 and our N2 is 150. Now, plugging in these values of P1 hat, P2 hat, N1 and N2 in this formula here, we will get 0.64 minus 0.54 over our P1 hat is 0.64, 1 minus 0.64 over 100 plus 0.54, 1 minus 0.54 over 150. The whole thing equals to 1.57. 1.57. Therefore, our test statistic is 1.57. Now, let's find p-value. First, note that it is two-tailed test since we have not equal to sign in alternate hypothesis here. So, p-value is 2 times probability that z is greater than 1.57. So, p-value is 2 times probability that z is greater than 1.57. Now let me label this graph here. This point is negative 1.57 and this point here on this side is 1.57. So basically we are trying to find this area, this shaded area on both sides. So to find this shaded area on both sides, we can use Z-table or some technology like TI calculator or Excel. For this one, we will just use Z-table. Now let me pull up my table up on the screen. So now we will look at the row of negative 1.5. That means this row here, negative 1.5, and column of 0.07. So that means over here, 0.07. So this gives us 0.058. This value here, 0.058. So let me put that down on our diagram here. So basically this area here is 0.0582. Now we will just multiply that by 2, which gives us 0.0582. 0.1164. So therefore, our p-value is this 0.1164. Now let's find critical values. First, let's note that it is two-tailed test since we have not equal to sign in alternate hypothesis. So we will have critical values at both ends. So that means we'll have critical value over here and over here, such that area is alpha by 2 at each tail. That means this area here is alpha by 2. Since alpha is not given, we'll take that to be 0.05. So basically, alpha by 2 equals to 0.05 over 2, and that is equal to 0.025. So if this is this area is 0.025, this area is also 0.025. Now, to find these critical values, we can use different tools like calculator, Excel, and table. Here, I'll show you how to do this using TI calculator. For other methods, please see my other videos. So let me pull up the calculator up on the screen. Now, go to second distribution, then go to inverse norm, which is number 3, then hit enter. Calculator takes area to the left. So if you are looking at this point here, the area to the left is 0.025. So let's enter that 0.025. Our mean is 0 and our sigma is 1. So then hit enter and enter. So this point here is negative 1.96. So let me put that down here. So therefore, critical values are negative 1.96 and 1.96. So using test statistic, we can conclude that. Let me make a diagram here. So we have our critical values over here, which is negative 1.96 and positive and 1.96 here, and our test statistic is somewhere in between here. Let's say it's here, which is 1.57. Since test statistic Z is not outside the critical values, we do not reject the null hypothesis. Again, we can derive the same conclusion here using the p-value. Since the p-value is 0.1166, which is greater than alpha, which is 0.05, this means we cannot reject the null hypothesis. So finally, for this particular sample here, the sample does not provide an evidence that the percentage of males and females with college degrees are different. So here we are done with this problem, but let me show you how to find Z value and P value using calculator. For that, let me pull up my calculator up on the screen. Now go to Stat, Test, then come down here to 2prop Z test. Then your X1 is 64, your N1 is 100. Your X2 is 81. Your N2 is 150. So for alternate hypothesis, we are given not equal to sign. So select that. So let's come down here and select that. Then come down here and select calculate, then hit enter. So if you look at here, our Z is 1.57, and that's what we have here for Z. And our p-value is 0.1166. And if you look at here on calculator's screen, that's what we got. Thank you for watching. We hope this video was helpful. Please like and subscribe our channel. We will be bringing more and more videos on variety of topics.